Dear children, welcome to our next lesson, Unit 18, Genetics. All the living organisms are made up of cells. The cells consist, all the living organisms are made up of cells. The cells consist of various cellular organelles. Nucleus is the most important organelle which controls the entire activities of a cell. The nucleus consists of the genetic material which controls the entire activities of a cell. Inside this nucleus, it consists of the chromosomes, which is made up of the genetic material DNA. This DNA has act as small segments responsible to express a particular character or function. These small units or parts of a DNA is known as genes. These genes are responsible for the inheritance of characteristics from one generation to another generation. Like begets like is an important and universal phenomenon of life, as the living beings produce offspring of their own kind. When the parents produce offspring of their own kind through different reproductive methods, they show strong similarities between the offspring and their parents. Color of eye, color of hair, shape of nose, type of earlobe, etc. are the inheritable traits. These characteristics are transferred from parent to the offspring. Apart from these examples, there are lot of traits are inheritable, such as skin color, height, etc. The main thing is the characteristics are inherited from parents to the offspring. Have you ever wondered how do we inherit traits from our father and mother? The characteristics what we have are inherited from our parents, but some of our characteristics might have been inherited from grandparents also. Did you think how is it possible? How do we inherit characters from one generation to another? It is because of the genes we inherit from our parents. The genes are small segments or part of the DNA molecule which is responsible for expression of a particular character or function. These genes are responsible for the physical outlook and biological function of an organism. The branch of biology that deals with genes, genetic variation and heredity of living organisms is called genetics. This is the definition for genetics. This branch of biology study about the structure and functions of genes. Sometimes the organism expresses genetic variations also. This is also the responsibility of genes. It also study about the heredity of living organisms. That is, how do the genetic characters are transmitted from one generation to the next generation. In heredity, we study how do the transmission of characters occurs. But in variations, we study how do the variations shown by the individuals, even though they all belongs to the same species. In some cases, the offsprings will not resemble with any of the character of the parents. Specifically, this is due to the genes which are present in the DNA of chromosomes. Gregor Johann Mendel. He is known as the father of genetics. Mendel, 1822 to 1884, was an Australian monk who discovered the basic principles of heredity through his experiments are the foundation for modern genetics. The concepts are derived and furtherly studied based on his experiments. He was born in 1822 in a family of farmers in Silesian of Czechoslovakia. After finishing his school at the age of 18, he entered the Augustinian monastery at Brunn as a priest. From there, he went to the University of Vienna for training in physics, mathematics, and natural science. He completed his studies successfully. Then, Mendel returned to the monastery in 1854 and continued to work as a priest and teach in high school. In his leisure time, he started his famous experiments on the garden pea plant. He chose the garden pea plants for his experiment for some reasons. He conducted his experiments in the monastery for about 9 years, from 1856 to 1865. So, he continuously carried out his research on the garden pea plants. He had worked on nearly 10,000 pea plants of 34 different varieties. He obtained the data from his research continuously 9 years. Mendel noted that they differ from one another in many ways. The pea plants shows different characters when compared to one another in many ways. He noted these things for his analysis. Thus, Mendel had chosen 7 pairs of contrasting characters for his study, as shown in the table. The table consists of 3 columns. The first column consists of the characteristic studies, in which the characters which shown by plant. It consists of the characteristics which shown by the plants. The second column consists of the dominant character which is expressed by the plants, and the third column consists of a recessive character which is shown by the plants. First character is seed shape. Mendel noticed the shape of seeds. The dominant plants expressed seeds are round in nature, and the plants which have recessive character produced the wrinkled seeds. Then second character is seed color. The plants of dominant character produced yellow color seeds, but the plants of recessive character produced green color seeds. The third character is seed coat color. The dominant plants produced colored seeds, but the recessive plants produce white color seeds. The fourth character is pod shape. The dominant plants expresses inflated pods. In recessive plants, it is constricted in nature. Then the next character is pod color. The dominant plants expresses green color pods, but the recessive plants expresses yellow color pods. The next characteristics he chose is flower position. Where do the flowers are produced? In dominant plants, the flowers are produced in axillary, but in recessive plants, the flowers are produced in the terminal of the plant. Then the last characteristic is stem length. The dominant plants produce long stems, but the recessive plants produce short stems. So these are the 7 pairs of contrasting characters which is obtained by Mendel. These characters are very much helpful for his studies. Then the reasons for Mendel's success. He chose the pea plant as it was advantageous for experimental works in many aspects. The advantages are as follows. First one is, it is naturally self-pollinating and so is very easy to raise pure breeding individuals. This is the main character. Due to this self-pollination, the plants raise pure breeding individuals naturally. These pure breeding individuals are very much useful for collecting the clear data for his experiment. The second reason is, it has a short lifespan as it is an annual, and so it was possible to follow several generations. The second reason is about the lifespan of pea plant. It has a short lifespan, that is, it is an annual. The entire life cycle process of the pea plants will completed within the year. So this short lifespan of pea plants makes Mendel to follow several generations, and it was helpful to Mendel to collect the data continuously. The next reason is, it is easy to cross-pollinate. The pea plants naturally consisting the self-pollination process, but in the same plant the cross-pollination could be carried easily. This is the main advantage, and this characteristic is very much useful for his experiments. The next reason is, it has deeply defined contrasting characters. The plants produce strong contrasting characters. These contrasting characters helped Mendel to analyze the data for his experiment. Then fifth one is, the flowers are bisexual. That is, the flowers of pea plants consist of both androecium and gynoecium. That is, the male and female reproductive parts are present in a same flower. That's why it is called as bisexual flowers. So these are the reasons which are very much helpful for his data collection and analysis of Mendel's experiment. Thank you.